Zion National Park in Utah attracts around 5 million visitors a year, the third most popular national park in America. Zion is fantastic, but with all those visitors, many attractions, including canyons, are restricted to permits and even lotteries to control the numbers to protect and preserve nature and the experience. The permit system is a necessity. Just outside the national park boundary, that line drawn on a paper map in Washington, the landscape and terrain is almost the same, with various good quality canyons on public land outside of the Zion permit system. One of those canyons is Misery Canyon, running into the East Fork of the Virgin River just outside the park boundary. The best place to park is just inside the eastern entrance. Park about a mile in from the eastern entrance, near where the restroom sign is. The approach hike initially heads south up a fault line to expansive views at a pass. 32 minutes from the car up to the pass here. From the pass, an easy to follow trail heads down and then east into sandy country where multiple use trails exist. Try to stay on the most walked. You have the option of two upper forks, west and east. It should take just over an hour to reach the west fork, under 2 hours to reach the east fork. I'm at the top of the west fork. Man, there are lots of trails here. The aim is to contour, so you got to keep going left basically and stay high on the hill. There's a tendency for all of the trails to keep dropping down to the right, which is not where you want to go. Fat Man's Misery is a very popular canyon. It seems most people do the West Fork. I guess it's nearer to the trailhead, but Road Trip Ryan recommends the East Fork as being more scenic. Here's the first slot, just a few minutes down canyon. Wow, we're in a fault line, but the creek turns left into a wiggly, nice slot canyon. How bizarre. Both the upper west and east forks are quite discontinuous. You'll pop in and out of several nice, short slot sections. The East Fork does have the nicest slot section of the two upper forks, albeit it is quite short. The fastest known time for the hike is 3.5 hours for the West Fork, 4.25 for the East Fork, but many parties do take 12 hours or more, especially on hot days where you'll be roasted on the approach and exit. Sunglasses off, sunglasses on, 20 times at least. This is the first slot that looks a bit more serious and sustained. It's very nice, it's deepening and it's darkening, wiggling around between chambers. Put my dry bag up for this just in case. It was knee deep as it turns out. Bolt and a lovely chute down. It's beautiful, but it opens about 20 yards after the rappel. It's then a short walk to where the West Fork joins. The highlight of Misery Canyon is the lower section below the Upper Forks junction. The canyon drops into a deep, dark, narrow corridor with a trickling stream that runs through to the Virgin River. Couple of 100 meters of sand walking, and then the canyon dramatically drops down. Rappel here from boats. Little down climb. There is an anchor there. Oh, my legs don't go as far apart as they used to do. Climb down to a pool, then around the corner. Lovely. Still got dry shorts. Just coming into the final slot, which is exquisite. I can hear the Virgin River ahead. It sounds like a raging torrent. Lots of interlinked chambers, and then going to go underneath two bridges here. And that definitely looks like a swim. I think it looked like that last time and wasn't a swim, but who knows how much sand is on the bottom. It looked like a swim for sure, but it's only a swim. The canyon's full name is Fat Man's Misery, named in 1964 by a group led by Thomas P. MacArthur, who had initially visited the tributary 10 years earlier. The Fat Man's Misery is perhaps a narrow rappel that could be avoided by worming through a narrow passage. Or perhaps the long day to visit the canyon is a misery for the unfit. Ignore the name Misery. This is a worthwhile trip. The water is flowing quite strongly there. Must be a spring. Misery Canyon flows into the East Fork of the Virgin River in the Parunaweap Canyon section. Parunaweap is truly awe-inspiring. It's shorter but just as good as the main Zion Narrows in the West Fork of the Virgin River. Fat Man's Misery drops you into the East Fork of the Virgin River, into Parunaweap Canyon. I don't know how to pronounce Parunaweap. It's as good as the main Zion Virgin Narrows. It never fails to amaze me. It's Memorial Day weekend. There will be thousands of people across in Zion for the Narrows, and this is just as good. Yes, no doubt it's harder to get here, but I have this all to myself. Magnificent is an understatement. And the first place where there isn't a cliff on the right looking down canyon, that's the exit. I don't know if I saw this plaque here last time. It explains the descent of Parunaweap Canyon and the naming. If you have time, it's worth continuing down through Parunaweap Canyon for 20 to 25 minutes to Labyrinth Falls, although you need to be mindful of the river flow because you'll need to retrace your steps back up through the current. The National Park Service forbids entry into lower Parunaweap Canyon, so you may not descend Labyrinth Falls into the lower section. The area has been designated a natural research area since 1993, perhaps with a focus to study fish. The lower end of the canyon has blocked access by private property anyway. Definitely have to work hard into the flow. Misery Canyon is a great day out in the Zion backcountry without the need to organise permits. As long as you're prepared for the navigation on the approach and exit hike, there should be no misery, only joy.